Our Black History feature this evening is Mr. Louis Duzanzon. Member of Parliament for the UP asked the Minister of Tayat is she satisfied with the answers she provided. And Member of Parliament Omar Otley says he is very disappointed. Those are the headlines for Friday, February the 26th, 2021. Good evening, viewers. This is SXM Daily News, and I'm Valerie from Pitton. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. And as usual, we have a full newscast for you, so let's get started. In our first story, the Central Committee meeting, which was adjourned on February the 15th and was reconvened last Wednesday at the House of Parliament, the Minister of Tourism, Economic Affairs, Transport and Telecommunication, the Honourable Ludmilla de Wever, was in attendance. The agenda points were the reconstruction project at the Princess Juliana International Airport Terminal building and operational projections for 2021. The structural composition of the company's hierarchy and the reasons for the various supervisory boards and the protection of assets of the country by removing the assets presently at PGIAE and placing them correctly at PGIAH was also up for discussion. The meeting was requested by members of Parliament C.A. Buncamper, G.S. Heiliger Martin, R. Bryson, A.E. Arundel, and Independent MP C.T. Emmanuel. This evening, you will hear from other members of Parliament who queried the airport's functioning. We'll start with Member of Parliament for the UP party, the Honourable Omar Otley, who spoke at the Central Committee meeting of Parliament, and he said that he was very disappointed as he asked 3 questions and have been given the runaround. The Member of Parliament says he likes solutions, and with a full management team sitting there from the airport, he wanted to get some answers.
I am very disappointed. I'm very disappointed. I have asked 3 questions and I have been given the runaround. I like solutions, Mr. Chairman. And as much as we can sit here and say the minister has a full support staff sitting here from the airport. Full management team sitting here from the airport. Let's get the answers. We have been sitting here from 2 p.m. It is minutes to 6, and I have to hear my colleagues repeat the same questions again. So with your indulgence, Mr. Chair, I've seen many Central Committee meetings where the representative and the staff take the podium and give the answers. I think that's the only way for us to get the real answers. We can sit here and say the minister don't work at the airport. And the only thing I would tell you, Minister, next time you receive answers that is this half, don't do it. Don't do it. And I think the members of Parliament will understand. Because I hate to see you in this position right now. I asked, will the CFO be taking a cut? I received an answer. I would like a simple answer. Will the CFO be taking a cut? I asked about the counterpart. I have been told it was answered in a previous question. Like MP Emmanuel say, my name is MP Otley. I would like the answer. But every MP that asks this question asks for clarification. So let's make it simple. When will the counterpart be in place? I've heard discussions about this counterpart before I was a member of Parliament. I'm in Parliament a year now. We are about to start we're in negotiations for a renewal of contracts. So I would like to know when. The public would like to know when. No more stories, no more long talk. Give me a date, give me a time, let's make it happen. Another thing I asked was, is the company's executive, I think it's executive for the FBO building, or excuse me if I'm wrong, but is the companies still willing to finance the FBO building? The answer was given is that no projects will go forth until the airport project. The airport project is being pushed back, pushed back, pushed back. The objective is to get the economy rolling. Objective is to build the airport. If we can get the FBO project going, that will be project where we have contractors, where we have workers, where we receive taxes, where we can get going while we are waiting on the airport reconstruction project. And my question was, are the companies still willing to finance? Because if they are, then this is at no cost at the airport. So like many of my MPs, I would like my answers answered, my questions answered, and with your indulgence, Mr. Chairman, and with the Minister's approval, you have the experts right here so that we can get real answers. I would like to hear from the experts.
Meanwhile, his colleague, Member of Parliament for the Honourable Krisha Heiliger Martin, also posed questions to the Minister of TAYAT. The MP said that they received a vague, misguided answers from the minister and asked if the minister was satisfied with the answers that she provided at the meeting.
This week, I said, in the introductory, I said, be specific. I said, be transparent. But yet today we received vague, misguided, hush-hush answers. That's how I kind of see it. I understand, Mr. Chairman, that the minister depends on the management team and the holding to answer questions. But to me, the minister's personal opinion is very important to me. So I'd like to ask through you, Mr. Chair, directly, a yes or no question to the minister. Are you satisfied with the answers you just gave us today? Yes or no? If you want to break down why, you can. But a yes or no is all I need. I want to hear from the minister directly if she's happy or she's satisfied with the answers you gave us today in Parliament. The U.S. pre-clearance. We had COM and Parliament has received reports many times in the past about U.S. pre-clearance. Why today is this document confidential? A little over a year ago, I asked through you, Mr. Chair, I asked the CEO, what is his number one priority? I think I asked even the top three, and I think he answered. His number one priority is the reconstruction of the building. I even asked about the FBO, I asked about the catering, I asked about the fuel farm, I asked about all of those, but this is the most important thing. Today I asked it again. Last week I asked it again, and then he says to me that all these projects are on hold due to limited funds. But in both my presentation, I mentioned specifically to the fuel farm that Sol and Texaco made an offer to build it. So it is free. Why are we not pursuing something that's free? So my question is, safety issue is not a priority. It's not important. Not important at all, because I asked this last week specifically. I spoke about the safety issue, and you, Mr. Chair, I was blatantly ignored that there's a safety hazard at the airport. Okay, my computer turned off here. Question 19. I spoke about the KLM letter. Again, another one that was completely ignored. That KLM sent a letter to the management team stating that they have an issue with the catering building not being, I don't have the specifics, but I asked for this. This was again ignored. I asked for a copy of the letter from KLM. And KLM has a fundamental issue with the new catering building not being up to date. And I think they even made a comment as to get it done, else we can continue coming to St. Martin along. I want the specifics. Can I have this letter? And why is this not important to us? In the second agenda point, I asked 3 questions. I'm going to read them out because they were not answered. And usually they say no answer is an answer. So I'm going to read out the questions again. I said the most important asset is your employees. These people seated here. Well, a few of them, a third, a fraction of them seated here. I said it has come to my attention that the CEO stated blatantly to the members of the PGIA management team that they don't know how to build an airport and only know how to operate an airport. Is this true? My question was never answered. I said, so they're good enough for Mr. Hollidays back then to build it, but not now. And I specifically asked, how does the CEO intend to gain the confidence of the employees by putting them down and telling them that they're unqualified, especially in matters that they have already proven to be qualified? I never received an answer. I would like to have an answer because I mentioned it before and I'll mention it again. They too are the most important asset. And lastly, for clarity's sake, it was stated, I think, an answer about corporate governance being that it has to be fully implemented. So does this mean that the airport will not receive monies from the World Bank if the corporate governance is not completely implemented? That's my last questions on clarifications, Mr. Chair. I have a few more questions, but I'll just leave it here in the clarification round.
And still to come, CEO of the airport requests more time to answer the questions that were posed. I'll have the details to that story and much more when SXM Daily News returns.
Hi, I'm Switch.
And I'm Save.
And together we're here
to tell you about WIB, Switch, and Save Mortgage Offer.
Now at WIB, you can save and benefit from great specials when you decide
to bring your mortgage to WIB.
When you switch, WIB will offer you
payment of penalty fees up to 3 months interest,
payment of notary fees,
waive of bank closing fees,
and also the lowest interest rate.
Plus, you'll have the chance to win back 1 year of interest payment.
Visit any of WIB's mortgage specialists and benefit from WIB's Switch and
Hey, that's my part. And Save Mortgage Offer.
WIB, your partner in progress.
Welcome back, viewers. You're watching SXM Daily News, and I'm Valerie from Putin. As we continue now with more news from the Central Committee meeting of Parliament, the Chief Executive Officer of the Princess Juliana International Airport, who spoke at the Central Committee meeting of Parliament, requested in a humble manner more time to answer the questions posed. He said he wanted to provide answers, but did not want to put the airport at risk. He wanted to work in harmony. Meanwhile, independent member of Parliament Christophe Emmanuel stated that he did not believe the airport's CEO because since last year, April, he has been waiting for an answer about one question concerning the conflict of interest. However, chairman of the meeting, MP William Marlin, said that the CEO did not bring his case across. Actually not, he said, because it is unfortunate that members of Parliament raise questions, adequate time is given to prepare adequate answers, and when members return to Parliament, they expect to get those answers. He said he can understand the frustration in all factions who have been raising questions and not getting the answers.
I've heard what the floor was saying, the details, and of course, clarifications on the answers. And I'm asking if we can, if we as the airport need some more time. We need time because the questions have been noted. We also have to look at the legality of some of it. We also have answers, and we have to make sure that these answers doesn't put us in any legal or litigation. I want to provide the answers, don't get me wrong. But this is a meeting that everyone can see online. This is a meeting that, we share information, and I don't want to put the airport at risk. We have a project that is over $100 million. I don't want to put that at risk. I think the most important thing here is that we move forward and work in harmony. I mean, in harmony with Parliament, in harmony with the shareholder, government, and of course with the holding and ourselves, because only then we can fix this airport. And I hope we can, moving forward, be clear on the information provided. So I really ask in a humble manner if we can get at least some time through the ministers, through the ministry, to organize ourselves, both on the legal aspect as well as the content of the answers. And as MP Emmanuel says, he wants to have the right answers, and I'm willing to provide these right answers. If 0.5% is not clear enough, I will multiply that, of course, with the amount that he's looking for. To say that it's, for instance, in his case, $250,000 if you're in default. So, you know, those things are small things for me to do. Those are not in any way related to confidentiality, but there's a lot of other items that are, and I want to make sure I don't put my foot in my mouth and be clear on it, yeah? The idea here is to be transparent, like what many of the members are saying. The idea here is to open the books, but of course I have my own limitations because I signed these agreements. And I know the MP has a lot of the documents. I just want to ask him if he can also handle these with care, because there's an airport at stake here.
Point of
Thank
order,
you.
Mr. Chairman. Point of something. With your indulgence. Mr. Chairman, I don't believe him. Mr. Chairman, from since last year, April, I still waiting on him to come back with legal to answer one question concerning the conflict of interest. I'm hearing the same story now about legal again. That was last year, April, Mr. Chairman. And I can understand the concerns of the minister. It's not the minister, but Mr. Chairman, the expert in the fields are here. The CFO is here. The CEO is here. The holding board, even though they holding nothing, is here, Mr. Chairman. They are right here. These are questions that were sent to you before that we are asking clarifications on your answer. What legal do you need to answer clarification on your answers, Mr. Chairman? No, man. This can't be. To go and come back again to be in harmony with who? I ain't in harmony with you, Mr. Chairman. I would like the answers, please. Just like how the good gentleman could say, $250,000 is the fee for non-usage and is not a conflict of interest. This is what I'm talking about, Mr. Chairman. So now we're hearing the same thing again? No. Thank you very much.
Thanks for your...
Is that for me, Mr. Chair? Did I bring my case across?
well, actually not.
Okay.
You're asking me my opinion now.
Of course.
Actually not.
Of course.
It is unfortunate that members of parliament raise questions. Time is given, adequate time is given to prepare adequate answers. And when members return to parliament, they expect to get the answers. And then to say again that we need to go back in order not to get the airport in jeopardy. Now, I can't beat questions or beat answers out of anybody, and I'm not pretending that that is what I intend to do. But I can understand the frustration in all factions who have been raising questions and not getting the answers. Parliament conducts the oversight over government, and by extension, government companies, because they're owned by the people. And when questions are asked, we expect those questions to be answered. If a question is popped today and someone says, I need to go back, do my research, and come back, we would expect the answers. And if there's a clarity because the manner in which the answer was provided was not clear, then if I have the answer, I should be able to formulate clarity on the answer that I have given without putting myself into any legal jeopardy. Because if I have the answer and it was not clear what I meant to say, then it should be able to be clarified. And if the information was provided to the minister via the airport, and you are the representatives of the airport, you have provided those answers. So if it came across in a manner that the minister did not probably give the correct explanation, and rather than going back to Concord, to conference with the minister, then to get back, the solution was to allow the CEO then, and if necessary, the CFO or the COO or anybody else representing the airport to say, well, this is what it is. This is not a plenary session of Parliament where we are passing any law, where we are bringing any motion. This is a working session of Parliament as a central committee meeting in which we operate differently, and questions are being asked. There is one specific question. It may be what they call loaded or not, that was asked for almost a year, and it's becoming repetitive that each time the member in question would have to say, I still have not received the answer. Then it raises the impression that someone has something to hide.
And as we continue now to honor our local heroes for Black History Month, this evening we will pay tribute to the walking encyclopedia, better known as Mr. Louis Douzanzon. Louis Douzanzon was born on November 16, 1948 in San Nicolas, Aruba. His early schooling was completed at the St. Joseph School on St. Martin, and from 1966 to 1971, he studied public administration at the Bestuurschool Overijssel and document management at Studie Kring Overheids Documentatie, which is a general affairs department on St. Martin. Between 1975 and 1991, the career civil servant headed the Legal Affairs and Archives Department. He functioned as the Island Secretary and Acting Island Secretary, and in 1994, he chaired the working group that investigated the commission to evaluate Dutch higher supervision for the island territories government. Mr. Louis Douzanzon was an advisor to government on electoral matters since 1979. This leading election expert and top civil servant was often consulted by politicians, scholars, and the media on bureaucracy and government history. Louis Douzanzon's articles on the election process have appeared in the St. Martin Newsday, the St. Martin Guardian, the Chronicle, and the Civil Server. He was a dedicated member of the St. Martin's Lions Club, and his hobbies included baseball and reading up on legal issues and history. Mr. Louis Douzanzon died on April 16, 2020, at the age of 76. And as we continue now with this COVID local update, as of February the 25th, there were one person who tested positive for COVID-19. However, 5 persons have recovered, bringing the total active cases to 36. The total number of confirmed cases is now 2,051. The Collective Prevention Services, CPS, are monitoring 35 people in home isolation. 1 patient remains hospitalized at the St. Martin Medical Center. The total number of deaths due to COVID-19 remains at 27. The number of people recovered since the first case surfaced on St. Martin has increased to 1,988. 95 people are in quarantine based on contact tracing investigations carried out by CPS. The Ministry of Public Health, Social Development and Labor, VSA, the Airport Health Team, in collaboration with Healthcare Laboratory St. Martin, ACLS, have tested 2,503 travelers arriving at the Princess Juliana International Airport, while CPS has tested 19,228 people throughout the community. As the numbers continue to fluctuate, CPS will continue to actively execute its contact tracing measures. Minister of Health Richard Panafleck advises everyone to make their health a priority. Wear a mask, practice 2 meters social distancing, sanitize and wash your hands frequently, and be cautious of large gatherings. Now, turning to our weather forecast for February the 26th, 2021, the Atlantic high-pressure system will maintain breezy conditions and hazardous seas for the next several days. Moisture embedded in the brisk wind flow will account for passing showers across the local area. Brisk winds and north to northeasterly swells will support seas up to 9 feet during this forecast period. Consequently, the small craft advisory will remain in effect for St. Martin. Small craft operators and sea bathers should continue exercising caution. Now, let's take a look at your 3-day forecast. But before that, let's look at the outlook through Sunday midday. Fair to partly cloudy and windy with a few isolated showers. And still to come, Minister of Finance reminds motorists that the deadline for paying road tax is February the 28th. We'll have the details to that story when SXM Daily News returns.
The innovative Banco Matico contactless smart card. Your Banco Matico smart card is now equipped with a contactless feature for payments, so get ready to tap and go. Contactless payments are fast, easy, secure, and accepted worldwide at all Maestro-enabled contactless terminals. Tap for transactions equivalent to or less than 100 NAF, or the US dollar equivalent. You will receive notifications via email anytime you tap. Tap, tap, and pay fast with WIB. For more information, visit our website at wib-bank.net. Tap and go with your partner in progress.
Welcome back, viewers. You're watching SXM Daily News. And as we continue now in other news, Minister of Finance, the Honorable Artwell Irion, speaking at the weekly press briefing of the Council of Ministers last Wednesday, reminded motorists that the deadline to pay your 2021 road tax is February the 28th.
First, I'd like to mention the road tax. I'd like to remind everyone that the deadline to pay your 2021 road tax is February 28th. Seeing as that it gives you less than a week, I would suggest you get it handled as soon as possible. We are still encouraging you to use the online payment system, decreasing the line length, and also saving you time. It is possible to pay for multiple plates simultaneously online, meaning you can do this for your entire household. You can find more information on how to pay your road tax pinned on my Facebook page, on government's Facebook page, the Dropbox downstairs, and also the traditional methods are still available to those of you that want to make use of that.
And as we end this edition of SXM Daily News for this evening and also this week, NVGEBE is informing the general public that the electricity supply to St. Peter's, which is Watermelon Road, St. Peter's Road, Guinnep Road, Soursop Road, Lemon Road, Marigot Hill Road, and surrounding areas, will be interrupted next week, Tuesday, March the 2nd, 2021, from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. For the Cahill area, which is Oryx Drive, CC1 distributors, Oryx residences, and surrounding areas, interruption will be done on Thursday, March the 4th, 2021, from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. These outages will allow GEBE maintenance to carry out the necessary maintenance to their distribution system. GEBE apologizes for the inconvenience caused by this interruption, and they thank you for your understanding as they continue to improve their service to the community of St. Martin. And with that, viewers, it brings us to the end of this edition of SXM Daily News for this evening and also this week. I am Valerie Van Putten, thanking you so much for joining me this evening and also this week. And just a reminder that this and other programs are available online. Simply log on to stmartinmediacenter.com for viewing. And on behalf of the SXM Daily News team, we thank you so much for watching and plan on meeting you right back here again on Monday. Do enjoy a safe weekend.